Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So I'm going to tell you a little story about my best friend, her man, and why it can be so toxic. So my best friend has been giving me a lot of really good advice about my ex-narcissist, but she won't take her own advice. And some of us go through that where we see that things are toxic. So yesterday she was crying and she's going through something where she could lose her toe. She has an incision literally from the base of her big toe all the way up around. It's this big, split completely open. And on the other side has another big, probably about that big wound on the other side of her toe. It has packing. She's diabetic, had two abscesses. She was in the hospital for 7 nights, 8 days, and she's on 47 days of antibiotics through an IV. So she's crying. As I'm going to see my mom, I'm talking to her and she's saying, he won't help me. He will not help me with my IV. I can't get the heparin. After you do the IV flush, you got to flush it with heparin. And it's really hard. She's heavier by quite a bit, probably around 300 pounds right now. She lost like over 300 pounds. So I'm very proud of her for that. And that's where childhood trauma can affect us. She went through some terrible childhood trauma. She is very kind. So she handled her childhood trauma by overeating, and she still maintained a kind heart. So she's kind of in the codependent stage financially. She's codependent upon this man. She gets Social Security, but it's not enough for their place. So all these twists and turns in narcissistic relationships and how it affects us. So she had said, if things don't get better with him, she's going to move in with me. But in May, and what is it now? I'm so tired. October. So by May, and that's when their lease is up, but she's willing to go through this abuse. She's already gone through it for years, and she's waiting till the lease is up. So some of us stick through these things for a very long time. We see the red flags. She sees the red flags. He yells at her, just didn't call her when she was in the hospital, not once. He would only text. He asked her to ask me to borrow money, and because money's so tight for them. He has my number. He's using her because he knows that it's more likely for me to give money to her. So narcissists can be intelligent. So he's using her to get the money that they need, when he could take those steps. So he's only texted her. He only texted her to bitch about this new puppy that they have, or it's a dog. It's a little pug, so it looks like a puppy. And he's like upset that he has to clean the litter boxes because they have 6 cats. And then he adds on this dog that she wanted a dog. Her dog passed away, but he comes across this rescue dog and brings it up to her, knows the lady with the dog. So they bring this dog into the home. So now he's angry that there's a dog in the house, but she's like, well, we can give it back then. And he doesn't want to give it back because he wants a dog. And this is where the narcissistic abuse comes in. He wants the dog, but when he can bitch about it, he wants to just be able to bitch about something. So he's not there for her. He's being horrendous to her, telling her that her foot issue is all her fault, that it's because of the animals. And she ended up, she has a toe fungus on the other foot. So she took the nail off because it was, instead of ripping, she took this off. So he's saying she's mutilating herself, and she would be better off, like he's told her several times, you'd be better off dead. And that's like really hurtful. So he's not there for her in her time of need. He came home yesterday because I ended up, while I was talking to her, I said, okay, I'll go see my mom for a little bit and I'll come see you. Now, granted, we live 3 hours apart. So I drive 3 hours to help her with her IV. And the man that she's with isn't willing to do it. So he ends up coming home later than her IV needed to be started because he said he wasn't going to come home, but he ended up doing that. So narcissists love to leave threats. And that left her in a very unsettled state, a very helpless state, because she couldn't do her IV by herself. He has her car, so she's willing to do sacrifices for him, but they take advantage of it. And he came home, and it was really odd how he talked in this nice, calm, almost creepy kind of voice, where it's a little too sweet. Now they're polyamorous, and I am not uh in any way, but he's been hitting on me, so he breaks those boundaries. With her, it would be okay, but it's not okay with me. So he's breaking my boundaries, and he's putting on this facade of being this really kind and what would you like for dinner, sweetheart? He didn't say sweetheart, but he had that tone. Goes and makes dinner, and it's really confusing to her. He's all of a sudden making dinner when I'm there, but he, as she's been home for a week, refuses to cook for her. But if somebody else is there, he goes above and beyond, gives her all these choices. So he's trying to get with me. And like I said, they're polyamorous. She would be okay with it, but he tells me, because I put on a little bit of weight, and he's just telling me how great I look. And he always tries, and it's a weird way of how he does it. Almost takes every opportunity to say something flattering. So they say something flattering, but then they negate it with, or say something hurtful, where he was like, yeah, we were really worried about you. You're way too thin. You need to eat 16 cheeseburgers. And it's not that big of a weight difference. But just like my first ex, narc, who I gained 8 pounds, and he was telling me how wonderful I look. Why couldn't you do this when we were together? And then we ended up getting back together, and he was like, I also gained 2 pounds by then. So it was really like I'm sorry, I gained, how did it go? I gained 2 pounds. First, I'm sorry, I lost 8 pounds, and I was the hottest woman in the world back with my first. I lost 8 pounds and gained 2 pounds. So at 8 pounds less, I'm the hottest woman in the world. And then I gained 2 pounds, and he says I look like a diseased, emaciated animal. Goes on talking about some dead 80-year-old lady laying with her crotch hanging out, because he's a cop, and this 80-year-old lady died in the hallway. And so he's saying some hurtful things. So her boyfriend has to negate it with how, in a sense, how disgusting you looked before. And it's like, just say I look nice now. Why can't they say that? And it's not that big of a deal for me, but for some people, and the thing on top of it is we don't even ask. I'm not like, do I look okay? Did I gain too much, or am I a little too thin? They have to say their opinions. They don't know when to say things, when not to, just like little kids. They don't know, they say things that might hurt, like, wow, you got big ears, and you might be self-conscious about it or whatever. They just say what they feel, without the empathy of how it might affect another person. So when we're in these toxic relationships, we see the good. He's being sweet and pleasurable conversation. He's, making money to pay the bills, but how horrendous they can be. Like, she was in tears. She's thinking about moving out. And the cycle's going to continue. So he's probably going to be nice for a little while, and he's going to abuse her again. He's going to scream. Like, his rages are real rages. Those aren't the rages I went through. Mine were more jerks, dismissive, silent treatment, but he can be quite scary. Mine were just kind of jerks that it really destroyed my life, but he's scary mode. And she has already shut down as far as trying to communicate. He won't listen to reason. I hear him on the phone sometimes when I'm talking to her. I hear their arguments in the back. They don't listen to reason, and it's never going to get better. She's been with him for I don't know, 8, 9 years now. And you see the collapse over time because in the beginning they had that love bombing. He needed her for a place to stay. He was homeless. So why not? Why not? She's polyamorous, which I had mentioned yesterday that I wonder how much of that is, I don't know, everybody has different beliefs, so I'm not trying to judge it. I'm just trying to understand it because it'd be really nice to have a life partner you can always count on. And risking jealousy, risking them leaving you, just all those things. It's like playing with fire in my eyes. But there's supposed to be honesty and open communication, which is good, and that makes it healthier. But is something missing to where you need, in a sense, multiple partners or different sexes? So some are bisexual. She's bisexual. And I don't think he is, but is there a void that isn't being met to where there's a desire for multiple partners? That I don't know. Comment below on your thoughts on that. But she's seeking love, and he's seeking, she is definitely seeking love because she missed that. Her father was very abusive to her, and I think she's search. This is my opinion, and he, I believe, is searching power and to be recognized. He is short, 5'6". I'm 6'1". He has some issues with that, so he plays a victim on that, plays a victim on their financial state, but his financial state is his fault. Now, she's on disability, and you could say her back issues are kind of, in a sense, her fault because she overate and got over 650 pounds. But his financial issues are definitely his fault because he's had a lot of opportunities, the entitlement, his brake line went out or brakes went out, so he took the company car home without permission, and so he got fired. So she had told him at least call the main number, because I guess there's like he was a new hire. There's like phone numbers in the truck, and they switched the truck, and he said, well, I don't have that phone list in this truck. And they said they'll get it to him either tomorrow or soon. And he didn't take any steps to notify the company. He didn't leave a note, didn't call the main number. He just took it home. There, he's entitled, and he could have risked taken without permission or stolen vehicle. They're oblivious to the laws, and that's a lot of times too why there's quite a bit of criminal behavior, whether they get caught or not. There's a lot more criminal behavior when somebody has certain mental illnesses. And the purpose of this video is to show that they'll be there for you when other people are around, when there are witnesses, like I was there. But when you really need them, they're not there. Like, she could lose her toe, and when she was in the hospital, all he did was bitch because he had to change the litter boxes, or he had to let the dog out because they're trying to train it because it was a caged animal, a rescue animal, and wasn't potty trained. So he doesn't like the extra. I mean, nobody really likes the extra work, but we do it out of love. And he did it with resentment, held a grudge about it, refused to cook for her. She's supposed to be off her foot, and he's making her work extra, standing on it. Yesterday, she did the laundry, she changed the sheets, she vacuumed, she did the dishes. for the whole week because no, you know, he didn't do the dishes and she was finally feeling up to it. But that's a lot of hours on a foot that's supposed to have no pressure on it, other than maybe if she went to the bathroom. But the yelling, the screaming, the fits, he's spending money on this other girl who isn't really interested. They're not seeing that she's not interested, but she's taking things because they're giving it to her. So if she wants cigarettes, he'll drive I think 40 minutes to drop off cigarettes, but they're dirt poor asking me for money. And he's not thinking about her. Let's invest in our future. We're already together. This other outside person isn't even really in the picture. And the person won't add financially. That person will drain them financially. And it's searching for something that's missing. Let's add another person. And that person, what did he call it? He's on the equestrian. I don't know. Gosh, what did it, conquest or something like that. Like, you know, equestrian riding. He just wants to. So he doesn't even really care who it was. I was getting my coat, so I leaned over and he grabbed my butt. So he's breaking boundaries. We've talked about that. I don't know. It's just, it was creepy how he was so, and that's the thing. They are chameleons. Even his voice changed, his tone, and he was talking really quiet. It was odd. It was really odd. And it was definitely a manipulation tactic to get closer to me. And he's got somebody. He's got somebody. And the true colors are usually taken out on the person closest to them. So he was extra sweet to me. And that facade, she got dinner out of it, but that wasn't for her. Because all week long, he didn't want to cook for her. That meal isn't for her. That meal that I didn't eat because I left, that meal was for me, for him to say what a good man he was. So comment below. Narcissists are chameleons, and they're dangerous because they're unpredictable. She thought he was going to either not come home, but he did come home. Based on his actions, he probably wouldn't have cooked for her. So she doesn't know what's up. And the communication is so bad. We'll see what happens in May. That's all I have to say, because they've been together. And if you're wondering, do these relationships work out? If she had more money, she wouldn't be there. But she needs the self-confidence, and she doesn't have the self-confidence to leave. So when we get healthier, we have more confidence. So one-on-ones are available. Please like and subscribe, share with others, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy the day.